I put my camera on wrong. I keep looking over here where the lens normally is, but the lens is over here, and I keep looking in the wrong spot. Hello, welcome back to my kitchen. My name's Amber. So far, I've lost 37 pounds, but now that I've lost some weight, my priorities are changing. And my new main focus is getting in my protein because I'm lifting weights and I want to build muscle, and you gotta have protein to do that. So in today's brand new start of our new series, high protein meals. So today we're starting off with breakfast. I'll do a lunch, dinner, and snack ones. To get all of my protein in a day, I have broken up how much protein I need at each meal. My goal is 25 grams for breakfast, 40 grams for lunch and dinner, and then 2 25-gram snacks. Grams of protein, that is. So that's what this is gonna be. 3 different breakfast options that give you 25 grams of protein, so that when you are not feeling planning out your menu, you have a handful of options that you know that you can go to, that you don't have to think about it. You already know it has enough protein, and it's gonna help you smash your goal for the day.
First up is our peanut butter oat muffins. I'm pairing these with a turkey sausage, but you can have them on their own.
Now let's prepare these peanut butter banana muffins. This is gonna make 8 muffins, so you'll need 8 muffin liners, 2 ripe bananas, 2/3 cup of peanut butter, a teaspoon of vanilla, 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of rolled oats, plus 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I also like to add a pinch of salt.
We're going to start by mashing our bananas. I just used a fork because I don't mind a few banana chunks, but if you want yours super smooth, you can use an immersion blender. Now that our bananas are fully mashed, we're going to add in our 2 eggs. I like to do this in a separate bowl just so I can make sure there's no shells that get involved. We're going to fully incorporate these together before adding our peanut butter. And then we're going to give that a stir as well. Go ahead and add your vanilla at this time too. I forgot to add it completely, so don't be like me. Now we're going to add our oats, our baking powder, and a little bit of salt and give this another stir. It's as simple as it can be. Make sure you use the quick oats. They will be more tender. These old-fashioned oats weren't quite as tender as the quick oats, but this is what I had in my pantry, so this is what I used. Now we're going to use an ice cream scoop. Leave it heaped over just a little bit, and that way you will have perfect ratio. All your batter will be used in these 8 muffins, and you're going to bake these at 375 for 22 to 25 minutes. They're going to come out all golden brown deliciousness. Let them cool and then store them. I put them in the fridge. The next morning when I was ready to have them, I added 1 teaspoon of butter and a couple tablespoons of sugar-free maple syrup. Y'all, this is already in the calorie count, and this is what really makes it absolutely delicious. So make sure you add that step at the end. And now let's go check out how to make these delicious maple berry sausages. This will be a 0-point sausage if you're on Weight Watchers, so don't go anywhere.
We're gonna need 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of thyme. I'm using ground, but if you only have the dried leaves, that's fine too. Half a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of sage, half a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, half a teaspoon of black pepper. This is optional, but a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Just gonna give it a little zhuzh here. You can absolutely buy ground turkey sausage that you just cook into patties to save yourself this part where you can just brown them instead of making them. But if you're on Weight Watchers and you use the 99% lean turkey, this would be a 0-point turkey sausage for you. And I thought that a lot of y'all would appreciate that. That way you're getting in your protein without using any of your points. I know a lot of people like to save more points for the end of the day. So I'm using the 93% lean turkey because that's what I prefer. And I add all the spices into the turkey, and we're gonna just squish it all in there. Got one little spot that's still slightly frozen. Now I forgot to do this part, but if you wet your hands before putting your hands in here, it makes it a little less sticky on your hands. All right, I got it pretty mixed in there. Now I'm gonna wash my hands and we have a few more ingredients to add. After we wash our hands, I'm also gonna go ahead and turn on my skillet to a medium high, so I'll be ready for our sausage when we are. Now's the fun part. We're gonna add 1 tablespoon of sugar-free maple syrup. You can add regular maple syrup if you'd like, but like I said, this will keep it 0 points for you. And honestly, this is the kind of stuff I grew up on, so this is what I prefer when it comes to syrups. Sorry, Canada. We're also gonna add 1/2 cup of blueberries. You can use fresh or frozen. If you use frozen, just make sure to thaw them before adding them to the meat. If you don't thaw it first, your meat will cook unevenly. You might have like a little pocket of not all the way cooked turkey, which does not sound like a good idea. So this is gonna be 4 servings, but 8 patties. So it could be technically 8 servings if you didn't want 2 patties. So I'm gonna cut it into 4ths. And now I have a good idea, and then I can cut this one in half, and then I know this is like 2 patties worth right there. Same for this one, just to keep them somewhat even. Now it'll end up washing out in the end of the week because it's more about how you eat through the week instead of a particular day. So it'll be fine if it's not 100%. Just gonna spray the pan with some avocado oil. I've wet my hands so I can make patties, and now I'm gonna scoop one of those little wedges into my hand, make it into a ball and flatten it. I have to do this in 2 different batches. These have been cooking for 3 minutes. I'm gonna spray the top of them with a little bit of oil and give them a flip. Now we'll let these cook until they are cooked all the way through, about 3 to 4 more minutes. I checked these with a meat thermometer until they got to 165. These are all ready to go. And then when I eat, I'll just make sure I get 1 large one and 1 small one if I haven't done the best job of portioning them out properly.
Now I'm going to continue with the second batch until all of my sausage is cooked. Y'all, these are so flavorful, so delicious. I will be making these again 100%. I might even try to turn them into burgers. I'm not sure. I'm getting crazy here, but please try these. They're delicious. These bad boys have 21 grams of protein for 2 patties. So if you didn't feel like making muffins, you could always pair it with a small cup of Greek yogurt for 12 grams of protein, and you have a solid breakfast. One last little beauty shot because I just can't help myself. Look at all that melty butter.
Time for our Kodiak pancake bread. For this, we're gonna need a 1/4 cup of Kodiak pancake mix, 1 scoop of protein powder. I'm using the Tone It Up vanilla. I really like this protein for anything that I'm baking. It's also great for smoothies. You can find it at Walmart, Target. I found it at H-E-B. 1 egg, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, 1/2 tablespoon of ground flax, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/3 cup to 1/2 cup of milk. I'm using unsweetened cashew milk, and then 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. First, you're gonna start with some oven-safe containers. This recipe makes 1 serving, so you'll need however many servings you want, that many containers. Make sure it's a container that you have a lid so you can store it in the fridge after baking.
We're going to start by adding our Kodiak cake mix, followed by our protein powder. Then our baking powder, cinnamon, ground flax. A good tip is to put that ground flax in your freezer so that way it doesn't go bad before you need it again. And that last one was chia seeds. We're going to whisk this up really well just to get all of our dry ingredients incorporated. Now we're going to add an egg to each, followed by our milk, and then our vanilla. And we're going to give this a good whisk, making sure to get into those corners so that none of the dry bits are stuck in the corners because they're tricky to try to hide. I'm going to top these with blueberries, about a 1/4 cup. You can add chocolate chips or a different fruit if you'd like raspberries, blackberries. Now, to make our life easier, we're going to put these on a tray and then bake the tray. That way we can remove and put in one thing instead of each individual item. You're welcome. Now we're going to bake these at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes. Once these have cooked all the way through and nothing comes out on a toothpick, you know they're ready. And put them on a cooling rack to come to room temperature before adding them to the fridge. The next morning, I pop mine in the microwave for 1 minute. This will vary depending on your microwave. And then I got my toppings ready. I topped this with 2 tablespoons of vanilla Greek yogurt, another 1/4 cup of blueberries, and then 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. This was delightful. Definitely doing this again. My husband loved this as well. Look at this little cutie patootie. And 35 grams of protein. Are you kidding me? 13 grams of fiber. Oh, yes, please.
We're going to make some overnight oats. You're going to want a mason jar, or one that you have a lid to. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of old-fashioned oats, a tablespoon of chia seeds, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter powder, a pinch of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, a splash of sugar-free vanilla syrup, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, a 1/3 cup of plain Greek yogurt, 1/2 cup of cashew milk or any milk you prefer. And we're going to stir this very gently, just to not throw it all over the place.
This was a very thick overnight oats, so if you'd like it a little thinner, then you're going to want to add about 2/3 cup of milk instead of 1/2 cup of milk.
Now, the calories and macros include 1 tablespoon of regular peanut butter as well. I'm going to add this the next day, the morning of.
I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of blueberries to mine, but I do not have these calories calculated in the calories and macros because I put a different fruit each time. And so I have my recipe built just as my overnight oats. And then each morning I have this, I will separately add calories for whichever fruit I used. Now let's add the lid and put these in the fridge overnight, or at least for 4 hours before consuming. These will last at least up to 4 days. I haven't gone past that, so you know you're experimenting on your own if you go past that. It's the next morning and I am ready to eat these oats. Like I said, these are super, super thick. That chia seed and oats really soak up the milk. So again, if you don't want them as thick, just add a little bit more milk. If you didn't add enough milk the day before, then you can add milk now and stir it in. It's no problem. Now to add my peanut butter in the morning, I like to zero out my scale and get it on grams, put my peanut butter on there. Now I'm going to scoop out peanut butter. I want 1 tablespoon, so that's going to be 16 grams. And so I'm going to just take peanut butter from this jar until it says 16 grams has been removed. And then I'm just going to use that spoon to eat my overnight oats with. Super simple, no extra dishes needed to be washed. If you are not a morning person, this is definitely for you because this took 0 effort. And these oats powered me through a really hard leg day. So lots of carbs and protein in this. Hallelujah. 26 grams of protein and 13 grams of fiber. That makes me halfway to my fiber goal. If this was helpful, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.